Good afternoon. We are wrapping up Unit 9. This is our last objective that we are doing in this unit. Remember, tomorrow during math class, we are taking our social studies test because we've got so much going on. It's an art day tomorrow. Thursday, we have Stations of the Cross. We've got 8th grade is doing a career fair that we get to go see. So there's a lot going on Thursday. So next week, we will be doing we'll be doing some math review on Thursday. It's going to be a short class. And then next week, we will be doing reviewing, because slope-intercept form, we've seen just how important it is. So we're going to review the slope-intercept forms, all the objectives, so we remember how to do it. So practice test will be Wednesday, real test will be Thursday. Okay, so keep that in mind. So if there are stuff that you're not sure on, make sure you're prepared to ask questions about it when we review it in class. That's how we're going to learn. Today's objective, CO 59. I can find an equation of direct variation given one exists. Remember, we're not always going to have a direct variation with our function table. It could be a curved line. It's not always going to be a direct variation. So let's recap what we learned in CO 36, fill in the blank style. Honestly, it's not so, and he even corrected it on here. He forgot to make the correction on your page. So it's not 36, it should be CO 58. He switched around the order of the way that he did, he set up his binders. So it should say, let's recap what we learned in CO 58, fill in the blank style. So every equation with direct variation will be in this form. What does that slope-intercept form look like? Say it out loud for me.
Y divided by X. What?
Oh, no, slope-intercept form, I said.
Y equals mx plus b.
Oh, careful.
Y equals mx.
If it's direct variation, there is no plus b because we know that the b is 0. So it's just y equals mx. When it's a direct variation, there is no plus b because it's a 0. So the constant of variation, the slope, m, is found how? David? Y divided by x. Maybe if you look in y. So, love that we know our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Direct variation means it's just y equals mx. Constant of variation is your slope, m, which is y divided by x. This information can be used to not only write an equation with direct variation, but also use that equation to solve for an unknown. So if we have a variable in there, we can solve for it. Now, this is very, very important. We have a key phrase. Mr. Schultz, when I was talking with him about this objective, he said, make sure you point out to them this key phrase.
Please pardon this interruption. This is a message for all track and field athletes. I just heard from Sue White, our athletic director. We have made the decision to cancel track and field practice today due to incoming weather. Parents will be notified at this time by the coach that practice has been canceled. So there will be no track and field practice today. If you usually take the bus home, take the bus home. I will repeat this message at 1:20 announcement. Thank you.
So here is our key phrase. They use this on the math test that's coming up in just a couple short weeks. You will see this, and I want you to know how to solve a problem that uses this phrase. Y varies directly with x. They're going to put something in for y, and they're going to put something in for x, and you need to know that the y is the thing that varies directly with the x. Okay, so it's always set up this way. The y is the first thing, varies directly with the x. Super important that you know that y comes first, varies directly with, and then it's going to be the x. So let's see how that works. Brian's pay varies directly with the number of hours he works. So what is my y? Brian's pay. What is my x? The number of hours that he works. So if he earns $285.75, that is Brian's pay. That is my y. See how that works? Brian's pay varies directly with the number of hours he works. So Brian's pay is my y. So what they tell me Brian's pay is, I know that number is my y. He works for 39 hours. How many hours did he work to earn $195.75? What is my x? Sam? The x is the 39 hours. Number of hours he works. That is my x. He works for 39 hours. So we know those numbers. How many hours did he work to earn $195.75? So these are the steps we're going to do to solve this. First step, what is the constant of variation? How do I find that? Colin? Y over x, y divided by x. So using the numbers that we know, what am I going to do, Colin?
You're gonna put in 282.75 y, and then put in 39.
So I'm going to do my y, which we said was $282.75. And I'm going to divide it by my x, 39. What is $282.75 divided by 39? Nathan? 7.25. So now I know my slope. What is the equation in slope-intercept form? So if I know my slope, how do I put that in my slope-intercept form? Andrea?
So you have it was y equals, and then I think it turns into a fraction.
Nope, you don't have to put it into a fraction. You could just put it as 7.25. So it doesn't have to be a fraction. What is the last thing I have to put on there, Andrea? $7.25, x.
Is that all you have to do?
That is my slope-intercept form. Leah? We're only on step number 2 right now. Now we need to do step number 3. So yes, we have to answer the actual question. I'm showing us the steps to get to that answer. Okay. Step 1, you find your slope. Step 2, you put it into the y-intercept, that slope-intercept form. Then step 3, plug in the known y value, because he earns $195.75. So if that's what he earns, how many hours did he work? Our unknown is how many hours did he work? So if I have y equals $7.25 times x, what equation do I need to do? Ryan? I have my equation here. I need to plug in my known values. So what's my equation going to look like?
195.75 over.
Give me the equation first.
Y equals.
No, 195.75 is my y. That's my known value, so that's my new y. I changed up my y and my x because I changed what it is I'm looking for. I knew here my Y was $282.75 for 39 hours. Now he earned $195.75. So I have a new Y. And my X, how many hours, is my unknown. So if I put 195.75 in for my Y, hello. No, this is Mrs. Gambino. Sorry. Oh, they thought I was still Mr. Robinson. I am not Mr. Robinson. Okay, so you see how we changed our X and our Y? They gave us the information so we could find our slope. Now we're going to plug in new X and Y. But we know the slope, so we can plug that in for the M. So what's our slope, Sam?
Wait, the number?
Yep.
7.5.
7.25. Do I know an X?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Nope, that's okay. Do I know an X? No, that's what I'm trying to find. So I'm gonna solve for the X. Sam?
So you would divide both sides by 7.25.
Yep. So I'm going to divide both sides by 7.25. Because my 7.25 turns into a 1. And I'm left with just my X equals what? What is 195.75 divided by 7.25? Paisley. 27. So, what is that 27? Which is what, Caitlin? Hours he works. So my answer would be 27 hours. Because remember, our question was, how many hours did he work? He worked 27 hours. Not money. That's not what we're answering. How many hours did he work? That was our X. So it's 27 hours. How do we feel about that? Is it kind of making sense? We're going to go through one together. So are we good if I erase? Thumbs up. Are we good if I erase? It looks like a couple of us are still writing. Andrea, which one are you looking at? Okay. All right, so I'm going to put it up nice and high so we can actually see it all. For each situation below, find the constant of variation. How do I find the constant of variation? Y over X, Y divided by X, same thing. Then I'm going to write the equation in the slope-intercept form. What does that look like? Y equals mx. And use the equation to answer the question. So we need to figure out what our Y and our X is. So that's our first thing, is figuring out the Y and the X so we can put it to find the constant of variation. So the profit Mary earns varies directly with the number of her books that sell. If Mary earns $601.65 for selling 63 books, how much will she earn for selling 59 books? How do I find my Y and my X? Who remembers? Remember, I said it was a key phrase. What is the Y and what is the X? Katie?
It says that very directly the profit would be the Y and the book should be X.
So something varies directly with. The Y always comes before. The X always comes after. Y varies directly with X. So the profit Mary earns is my Y. So what number is my Y? Nathan?
For what?
Mhm.
It would be $601.65.
$601.65, because that is what her profit is. That's what she earns. What is my X? Cole, when I'm recording, try not to. What is my X? Briggs,
The amount of books sold,
which is what number?
63.
Yep, she sold 63 books. So the number of books that she sells is our X. So what was my first step? What do I want to find? Maddie,
You want to find the
I want to find the M. How do I find that? How do I find my constant of variation? Paisley,
first you plug in the first two.
tell me what number straight, Paisley.
So 9.55.
Nope. How do I find that? You have stepped ahead. How do I find that? How do I find the M?
$601.63.
65 cents.
65 divided by 63.
And that equals what, Paisley?
9.25.
So my first step is to find my M, that constant of variation, y divided by x. What's my second step? Who can walk me through the second step? Paul.
We need to find the equation of slope intercept forward.
So what is the equation?
Y equals 9.55x.
So y equals m, which we just found is 9.55 times x. So what's my next step? Andrea, I need to plug in. Ooh, what am I plugging in? So let's look over here. How much will she earn for selling 59 books? So what do I have here? The profit Mary earns is my Y. Here it's saying how much will she earn? So do I know my Y to plug it in, Andrea? I don't know the Y, do I? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Y. So what is the X? Caitlin? Yeah, the number of her books that sell is our X. So you have to look at your Y and your X. Actually go in and label it. Keep it clear in your head. What's my Y? What's my X? Y is what she earns. Profit Mary earns. She earned $605. How much will she earn? That's my Y. I don't know the Y. So I don't have a Y to plug in. That's my unknown variable. What else do I put in my equation? Y equals what? Katie?
9.55 times 59.
9.55 times X. X is 59. So what do I have to do to find Y? I have to multiply them. 9.55 times 59. What is $9.55 times 59, Paul? 563.45. What label do I put on that? What was that? Dollars. Because how much will she earn? She is going to earn $563.45. So it's really important that not only do you label your Y and your X at the beginning, look at the question it's asking. What's the Y? What's the X? What am I filling into my equation and what am I solving for? What do you want to ask?
So why can't you just do 601.65 divided by 63 and then multiply by 59?
Well, that is what we're doing.
That's the next.
But why do I want us to put it into the 3 steps? Why do I want to stay organized, Izzy?
So if you mess up, you can go back and play.
So 1, if you mess up, you can find where your mistake was. 2, when we get to more complicated word problems, we know how to set it up and organize it. If we know why we're doing the steps, we can do more complicated problems. If we just say, well, aren't we just multiplying and then dividing? Why can't I, or dividing then multiplying, why can't I just do that? Because we don't understand why we're doing the steps. So when we get to these big word problems, we know what's the y, what's the x, how do I solve it? So when we go step by step by step, when we get to these big problems, because you will see these on the math test. Mr. Schultz says they use this wording. With something varies directly with something, you need to know how to solve it. So if you know the steps and the process, you don't get overwhelmed with the big problems. So I want us to write it out with the steps. I want to see all 3 steps so you get in the habit of finding the y and the x and truly understanding it. Because friends, it's super easy to mix up our y and our x. It's super easy to flip it, and then we get a completely wrong answer. And when they do multiple choice, they will purposely flip the y and the x and put that wrong answer in there. So you will think you're correct because your answer is shown. Because they know that's an easy mistake for people to make, flipping our y and our x. So be in the habit of setting it up correctly, knowing, am I solving for y or am I solving for x? You set it up correctly, then you won't make those mistakes because they will put both answers and you will have to know which one is the correct answer. You guys want to do one more together? Make sure you know it, or do you think you're doing good? You're good? All right, so we have this last one and then the next page. Remember, y varies directly with the x. Remember, put a y under the y, put an x under the x, so you keep straight in your head where you're plugging the numbers into your equation. If you are at home, we hope you are well, and we hope to see you soon.